Hey guys, welcome to lesson 8. This week we're going to be talking about how to write and identify the 3 different types of minor scales. So there are 3 minor scales. One of them we've already sung a little bit. It's called the natural minor scale. And that's the one that just goes from La up to La and it has regular solfege. And then the other 2 kinds of minor scales are harmonic and melodic. And those are just slight alterations of the natural minor scale. So we're going to talk about how to write them first, and as we do that, we'll talk about the differences between the 3 and listen to them and see how we can identify them. The first step in writing a natural minor scale is going to be to write in solfege below the staff. This is going to serve as a guideline for us for the next couple steps. Notice that I've written it in for the ascending scale as well as the descending scale. When we're doing minor scales, we are going to want to do it both directions. Next, we're going to write in the pattern of whole steps and half steps. If you're not in the mood to memorize this, you can just use what we already know about solfege and whole steps and half steps. So we know that La to Ti is a whole step, Ti to Do is a half step, Do to Re is a whole step, Re to Mi, another whole step, Mi to Fa, half, Fa to Sol, whole, and So to La is another whole. So the pattern of the minor scale is whole, half, whole, half, whole. Notice that I've only written in the pattern of whole steps and half steps for the ascending part of the scale. That's all you need to do for now, because we're going to write the ascending portion first and then we're going to mirror it for the descending. The next step is going to be to actually write in the scale, referring to a keyboard to follow this pattern of whole steps and half steps. So for example, let's say that we're going to write a D natural minor scale. So since we know that scales are named by their first note, we know that our first note is going to be D. So I'm going to go ahead and write in my low and high La's before I even worry about the rest of the notes, just to give myself sort of a framework. So now we're on La. La to Ti is a whole step. So we need to go up a whole step from D. That puts us on E. So Ti is going to be E. Then Ti to Do is a half step. So up a half step from E puts us on F. Do is going to be F. Do to Re is a whole step. F to G. G is going to be Re. Then Re to Mi is another whole step, so G up to A. Mi is going to be A. And then Mi to Fa is a half step, so a half step up from A puts us on this black key. And there are 2 ways we could name this, but there's only one correct way. So it could be A sharp, but if we did that, we would end up with 2 versions of A within the same scale, because we've already got an A natural here. So instead, we're going to have to use B flat. So Fa is going to be B flat. And then finally, B flat, a whole step from Fa to So, takes us up to C. The So is going to be C. And if we've done all of this correctly, our interval between So and La should be a whole step. And C up to D is a whole step. So that means we're all good. So then to finish this off, we're just going to use the same notes that we used on the way up, on the way down. So Sol was C natural, Fa was B flat, Mi was A, Re was G, Do was F, and Ti was E. And then we're going to mirror our pattern of whole steps and half steps. So La down to So is a whole step, So to Fa, whole step, Fa to Mi, half step, Mi to Re, whole, Re Do, whole, Do Ti, half, and Ti La, whole. So there is our natural minor scale. And now we're going to sing it, because, of course, here's La, La, Ti, Do, Re, One thing that sets the natural minor scale apart from the other two versions, as we're going to see, is that it has this whole step between so and la. So the first step when you're going to write a harmonic minor or a melodic minor scale is actually going to be to start with the natural minor scale. So for instance, if we wanted to write a D harmonic scale, then first we'd start by writing a D natural minor scale. Ta-da! The harmonic minor scale is different from the natural minor scale in that it has a raised seventh note. So the seventh note in this scale is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sol is going to need to become C because we're going to move it up a half step. In order to reflect that change on the staff, to make C natural go up a half step, we just add a sharp. So we're going to do that on both sides, just to be super clear. So then the last thing that we need to do is adjust our pattern of whole steps and half steps. So I'm going to go ahead and erase the ones that are affected by changing so. So that's fa, up through la, and then back down to fa. Those are all going to be different. Let's start by taking a look at C to la. So C is on C sharp and la is on D. So that means that C to la is actually a half step. And the same goes for la down to C. Now let's take a look at fa to C though. Our fa was on B flat and C is on C sharp. So let's count how many half steps are between those. 1, 2, 3. So the interval between fa and C is actually bigger than a whole step. For the purposes of this class, I'm going to use a little circular bracket, and I'm going to do a whole step plus is how I'm going to label that interval. If you want to get really technical about it, that interval is actually called an augmented second. But for us, whole step plus will be just fine. So the new pattern of whole steps and half steps in the harmonic minor scale is whole, half, half, whole plus half. Let's go ahead and sing that. Here's la, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, si, la, si, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. So that's our harmonic minor scale. A good way to spot these visually is actually the half step between C and la that happens both on the way up and the way down. Just like with harmonic minor, when we go to write a melodic minor scale, we're going to start by writing the natural minor scale. So again, I'm going to use our D natural minor scale that we've already written. The melodic minor scale is special in that it is different on the way up than it is on the way down. So to change this natural minor scale into melodic minor scale, we're going to raise our fa and our so by a half step, but only on the way up. So fa is going to become fi, and so is going to become si. And to make that happen on the staff, fa was a B flat, so to change it to fi, we're going to make it B natural. And I do want you to go ahead and write in the natural when you're doing this for your homework, just so that it can be super clear that you are doing this intentionally. To raise our so to C, we make it C sharp. Then we just need to make our whole steps and half steps work with this. So let's check from Fi to C. Is it still a whole step? Fi is B natural and C is C sharp. Yep, that is still a whole step. But what about Mi up to the next note? Mi is A natural, and Fi is B natural. So that half step has now become a whole step. And then we have to change Si to La, just like in the harmonic minor scale, is going to be a half step. So whole, half, whole, 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 half. And then finally on the descending melodic scale, it's actually going to go back to the way it was in natural minor. Si is going to go back to So, and Fi is going to go back to Fa. We already have our B flat from when we wrote a natural minor scale, and that's going to cancel out our earlier natural. But we do actually also need to make it clear that this So has gone back to C natural. It's not still C sharp. So we're going to add in that natural to complete our melodic minor scale. And so now we have the full thing, and our pattern is whole, half, whole, 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 half on the way up, and then whole, whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole on the way down. And of course we have to sing it. Here's La, La, Ti, Do, Re, Mi, Fi, Si, La, La, So, Fa, Mi, Re, Do, Ti, La. So just to recap, our natural minor scale is going to go from La to La, and it just has regular solfege the whole time. La, Ti, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, La, So, Fa, Mi, Re, Do, Ti, La. The harmonic minor scale is like the natural minor scale, except that Sol is raised to C on both the ascending and descending scales. La, Ti, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Si, La, La, Si, Fa, Mi, Re, Do, Ti, La. And finally, the melodic minor scale is different on the way up than it is on the way down. On the way up, Fa and Sol are raised to Fi and Si, and on the way down, it returns to natural minor, Sol and Fa. La, Ti, Do, Re,